Hey guys, and welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Natasha Martinez, and this is the daily show where we give you all the latest news in the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Kicking off our show today is Perry Nemiroff.
Hey guys, welcome back for a Thursday edition of Collider Movie Talk. We have a great show for you guys today. We have trailers, Twitter questions, a birthday, and a mighty fine panel. Natasha, who's joining me?
Well, the belated birthday boy, John Schnepp.
That's right. It was my birthday a couple days ago. What's up? It's not my birthday anymore. It's my birthday year. But you know what? Someone else has got a very special birthday, but I'm not going to announce that because they get to announce it themselves. I wanted to give a moment of silence to Chris Cornell. We were just talking about his passing. So one of the greatest voices in music has passed away. So if you've never heard Soundgarden, get on it.
Also joining us, Ken Knapsack.
That's right. I'm a mid-90s rock DJ, and I want to pay a little bit of respect to Chris Cornell. That was a voice that was a part of my past too, John. So I pay respects. But I'm glad to be here. A lot going on in the world. It's fun to just get in that movie bubble and talk.
And kicking up the energy now, the birthday boy, Mark Riley.
Hey! How you doing, everybody? I drank a lot of wine last night, watched a lot of Game of Thrones, and now I'm here to celebrate my birthday, talk about movies, talk about movie talk. Let's do this.
No better way to hop on an episode of Movie Talk.
Hey, when it's your
Happy
birthday,
Riley.
yeah, you
Yet
jump on
again.
Movie Talk. That's what you do.
And we got some good stuff to talk about right now. So, as we said earlier, there's going to be Twitter questions on the show. Primarily, this will be a show where we take your live Twitter questions. So, start sending them in to the Collider Video and Twitter account, not Instagram, because we won't see them there. Twitter account right now, and Wendy and Natasha are going to pick out a whole bunch, and we're going to address them a little later. First off, we have 3 brand new trailers that dropped. First one we're going to hit is the final Mummy trailer. We've spoken about a whole bunch of Mummy trailers. This one is the last, and I actually think it might be the best. I've liked a lot of the stuff that I've seen from the Mummy so far, and I keep having like a little bit of a shadow of a doubt over this whole franchise just because, you know, this is the first movie in a series that the studio has already announced they're going to do many movies in, and when you're in that kind of situation, it's hard not to have that tiny little fear. What if this thing comes out and it doesn't meet expectations? But with Pirates coming out next week, I went back and I watched the first Pirates of the Caribbean. That's a freaking awesome movie.
It's a good movie.
It is so much fun. And the reason I bring that up is because when I watched this trailer, I noticed myself grinning and enjoying the action, kind of in the same way that I had so much fun with that. So I'm starting to think that maybe if it captures kind of that atmosphere, that style of action, and that tone, we could have a good start to the Universal Monster Cinematic Universe. Jeanette, what do you think?
I agree with you. This is my favorite Mummy trailer so far, and I've liked all the Mummy trailers. I'm really excited about this. I want a good monster universe. It seems like it's starting out the Progenium or whatever they're the little agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. where the monsters all hang out and Jekyll's like, no, I'm not going to turn into Hyde or whatever. So I'm looking forward to it. I love the action that they showed. They showed a lot of humor in this trailer. I mean, I was already sold. I didn't need to be sold again, but they made me get sold even more. So I can't wait to see it. I hope it doesn't suck.
Ken, you into it?
I'm going to give it the Brendan Fraser honorary clap. It was good. It was really good. It's got all the pieces. It's like a Universal Studios ride, and that's all I need. I'm a Tom Cruise guy. I got no problem with Tom doing Tom, and that is what we got here. We got some amazing set pieces. Sophia Boutella, though, is that new kind of badass star we all kind of like. She's found kind of this nice niche for herself. She looks great in this. It's it might be a turn off your mind. Relax and float downstream type of movie, but that's okay. That's okay, and I'm on board.
You want to know why she looks awesome? Her bangs are freaking on point in
Bang
this
game.
movie.
Yeah.
She's got it. So Riley,
She's banging.
no sharks,
Well,
but
there
we've
it
got
is.
monsters. How you feeling about this?
Yeah, no sharks, but lots of monsters. I'm with you guys. I dig this trailer. They keep getting better, and I like the humor, as you mentioned, Schnepp. Especially, like, you get this dead mummy guy reaching for Tom Cruise's face, and he's like, my face, that's my face. Yeah. I liked it. And this is something, I hope it's not, I do like my movies to have something to them and not necessarily have to turn off my brain, which some people compare the Transformers franchise to, which I hate.
That's just throwing your brain away.
That's throwing your brain away and then and lobotomized at that. So this looks just like a lot of fun. It really looks like a lot of fun. There's some great horror elements. I think about the featurette that dropped a couple days ago, where you kind of see Russell Crowe's hide and you see the behind the scenes working of this like shield, but in the monsters universe. That's what got me. You see like the vampire skulls, you see monsters. They're setting up the shared universe. I'm a monster guy. I love monster movies. I love the classic monster movies. This looks great.
I don't know if they're going to do this because she's not part of the supernatural element so much, but I hope they do one of those little character featurettes for Annabelle Wallis. Just because this is actually the first trailer where I've seen her really interact with Tom Cruise and play up the comedy a little, and it's nice because in all the previous trailers, I'm like, oh, are you just going to be his lady friend who just hangs out on the side and is there because she has to be there? So I hope she gets a little more. Is there anything left that you haven't seen that you guys are hoping to see in a Mummy trailer before it actually comes out?
What I don't want to see anymore is that shot of like I'm a dust-faced mummy, because that reminds me of the Brendan Fraser mummy.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't need to see callbacks to that. I know that was a little callback because they're like, that worked, 20 years ago. It's like, I don't need to see that again. Everything else is fresh and refreshing. So I don't want to actually see anymore. I just want to see the movie.
Yeah, I don't want them to spoil anything like Alien Covenant. There's your friendly reminder before that movie comes out. Don't watch much more of that. So hopefully that doesn't happen with The Mummy. Right now, though, we're going to move on to another trailer, and it is the first trailer for one of my most anticipated movies, and that's The Glass Castle. This one comes from the guy who directed Short Term 12, which I absolutely adore, Destin Daniel Cretton, and it stars Brie Larson, who also starred in Short Term 12. So that pairing had me super hyped to begin with. If you have not seen Short Term 12, you guys have seen Short Term 12, right?
Oh, I've seen it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've got short-term memory loss.
I was waiting for something like that.
I have not seen.
Man, I was drinking some
12.
Bud Lights earlier, and I said short-term what?
Your short-term 12, your short-term memory
This
loss.
is not a movie to joke about. No, I'm just
No,
kidding.
I
You
know,
can joke
it's
about
not.
it.
This-
But you should see it.
I
It's
need to
so
see the
good.
movie, but this trailer makes me want to see that movie because this trailer looks phenomenal. The acting looks just incredible. Woody Harrelson blew me away in this trailer, and already the emotions are there. There's something going on. I love that what appears to be like we're flashing back between times, kind of filling in the blanks of Brie Larson's life and what she's doing. So this is fascinating to me.
Can you cry a little during this trailer?
I cry a lot, Perry, but this one, I didn't know Haymitch was getting a prequel, but it's good.
Right.
It looks like District 12. No, this is one of those movies. I look at this trailer and I think this is great. This is great acting. This is performance at the top of the game. I'm actually a Woody Harrelson fan. I love Naomi Watts. I think she's one of the best ones we got out there. And Brie Larson, of course, the rising star. I see all this, though. I don't have a reaction to it like you guys do. I just go, yep, that's going to be good. I'll see it at some point when they start handing out statues. It makes me, I know, Mark, I'm kind of the jerk here. But it was good. It's like, it's got the song that makes you cry. You got the flashbacks. You got the present day.
It gets
tugs
me.
on your heartstrings.
Yeah.
I get it.
No.
I get it.
That's
I'm
why
there.
we're friends, Ken. We balance
Yes.
each other out like
Yeah.
that.
Well, you really never know, because that's what I was thinking was going to happen with Short Term 12. The problem with that is I think it got, like an itty bitty release and it came out in the summer, and I think people just forgot about it, which is really unfortunate because that's the movie that I think should have gotten Brie Larson her first Academy Award nomination. And I think Cretton should have been, if not nominated, at least a bigger name or more well-known name. I'm glad he finally is getting to his next feature film because it's about time. And this trailer at least has so many things, completely different subject matter than Short Term 12, but there's so many elements that I could see where it's him doing what he did on Short Term 12 and taking it a step further, particularly with his cast. The ensemble looks much bigger here, and that was one of the highlights of Short Term 12. It was about that group of kids in that short-term facility, and it was about Brie Larson's character and some of the other characters. Rami Malek is in that movie. It's about them being a family and taking care of each other, and you could see that here, but with different themes. So I'm really thinking this could be a great step forward for him, and you never know. We could be having that discussion later this year when it's probably going to get nominated, and Ken is just like, okay, now I'm going to cry during the feature film too.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll
Yeah.
cry when Woody wins.
If you haven't seen Short Term 12, definitely check it out. I know it's on one of the streaming channels right now, so it's very easy to see. Don't watch it on your birthday because it's going to make you cry.
No.
But it's a great film. It actually introduced everyone to Brie Larson, so I'm glad that she's returning to work with the director on another film. This film looks great. I kept, for horrible reasons, just flashing to War of the Planet of the Apes. And that's what happened to Woody Harrelson. he was crazy and treated his kids wrong or whatever. But yeah, it definitely this film, it will get you emotional, especially if you've had like crazy parents which everybody has. So
Well, it does speak to Woody Harrelson's range.
Yeah.
Not that we didn't know he was a great actor, but it's, we had a War for the Planet of the Apes trailer come out this week, and you see his behavior in that, and then you see something like this, and it's clear why her character would be mad at Dad later on, but he is also clearly a very loving father who cares about his family, and that element of the movie had a little bit of a Captain Fantastic vibe to me. Yet another great movie that not many people saw, that they probably should have, that wound up with an Academy Award nomination, actually. So
You like them statues.
I know, really, especially for when it's for people that I admire. So good on all of them. All right, we're gonna roll into our last trailer right now. This is for a new Netflix movie called Okja. Yeah, I'm nervous to talk about this one because one, I'm really excited about it because it's from Bong Joon-ho, and he's the one who directed Snowpiercer and The Host. Snowpiercer in particular, I absolutely adore. This is a movie about a cute creature that runs into harm, and people want to eat it. And that scares the crap out of me. I don't know if I can handle it. You're already laughing at me. Did you not get those vibes?
Well, I got the vibes because that's the plot. Yeah,
I know, it's terrible.
they want to
It's
eat.
not vibes. It's what
Okja.
it is.
Yeah, and
That's
look,
the purpose why it was bred, right?
yeah, this is why it was bred, but this is why this is my favorite trailer of the day. Hands
Really?
down.
Really?
I love this trailer. Are you kidding me? You're talking to the guy that loves How to Train Your Dragon, E.T., pair up a couple of, like a human and X, dragon, extraterrestrial, what have you. Natasha, you're going to watch E.T. one of these days. I know
mean,
it.
I'm still waiting for the commentary.
I know.
It's been like a year since
Yeah,
we talked
it
about
has
it.
been
we
a
have
year,
to do the
guys.
E.T.
What's
so
commentary.
Mark Ellis hasn't seen E.T. and Natasha has not seen
Wait, Mark hasn't
Blade
seen
Runner.
E.T.
Oh wait,
either?
it's the opposite, right? You
It's
haven't
the
seen
opposite.
E.T.
She hasn't
I
seen
think we
E.T.
should have a
Well,
double
I've seen
feature.
E.T. That's why I know that I'm afraid of him.
Yeah, you're afraid.
You've
But
seen it,
Yeah.
but you just fear E.T.
Yeah, I'm traumatized.
now, do you fear Okja?
No, I loved him.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
He was
about.
so cute and pudgy. He reminded me of like a manatee mixed with a hippopotamus.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's where it's at, and that's why I love this. And I mean, Snowpiercer is a fantastic movie, so we're having the same director here. This gets me, and Tilda Swinton just being crazy. Tilda Swinton again.
Right.
I'm all in with this. This looks interesting. It looks like there's a lot of different kind of commentary happening about this world, all from the eyes of our main character and Okja. So this, yeah, it speaks to me. What can I say?
Does it speak to you too?
It unfortunately speaks to me in a bummer way because I'm a vegetarian. So it's like when I see these kinds of things about animals being bred to be used as meat, and then you see a little cute hippopotamus manatee creature
Yep.
that's a little girl's in love with, and then you see Tilda Swinton being the evil overlord with a bunch of meat packages and like death machines, and it just gets me. So, I mean, like you're either going to be really hungry for a hamburger after you see this movie, or you're going to become a vegetarian. That's what's going to
terrible.
happen. No, I think that's what's going to happen. It's like, I mean, that's how these kinds of movies, like, how many people after they saw Babe were like, can't do bacon anymore, just can't do it. Or they were like, the minute they got out, they're like, let me get that Grand Slam at Denny's with extra bacon. How many, it's just like,
Instead of cinema score, that's how this movie should be rated. How much
Right.
do you want a burger right now?
right. After you see a
God.
lot of people, it'll be like, well, who knows, but I want to see the movie.
Ken, are you gonna feel bad for this poor thing or want a burger?
There's certain barbecue restaurants in the area where the managers know me by the first name. I think I'm gonna, I'm not unlike Paul McCartney and John. I enjoy a good piece of meat, but this is a very imaginative trailer. I get it. What Riley is saying, a cute kid with what to me looks like the Happabore from Force Awakens mixed with a bunny and John Goodman. I think this is going to be it's gonna
John Goodman.
pulls all the strings. It
That's-
pulls all the heartstrings, and I get it. I love what Netflix is doing. You put it together, Perry. Do the math.
Fat
Right?
John
Just-
Goodman.
I'm like
right?
staring
Fatter,
at-
fatter.
I'm
Yeah.
staring at the thumbnail though. It's something about its expression on its face.
The Happabore from Force Awakens. That's the creature that Finn was drinking the water out of.
Yeah.
Bunny, John Goodman. It's like science. Put it together. I'll probably be rooting for Tilda Swinton character a little bit, but I love what Netflix is doing. I
Yeah.
love that we're in this era where they're making big time imaginative films with big time names. I love that.
Wendy, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much does Okja look like John Goodman? You weren't even listening.
Oh my god! Sorry, I was in the Twitter.
I think
Do you like the trailer?
think
I
an
love
8.
the trailer.
I think it's an 8.
I was gonna say
man.
I was gonna say
high
7.
score. That's a high John Goodman
like
score.
Yeah, that's a high. That's very John Goodman.
Yeah, it's weird too. Okja is actually in the Roseanne revival because they couldn't get John
Right.
Goodman. So Okja has a career ahead of him.
All right.
God.
Okja's the new Alf.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna
Hey.
no, but legit, everyone's gonna want a stuffed animal of Okja.
Absolutely.
I already want one.
Unless something terrible happens to it, then I don't know if I'll be able to look
I'm
at
gonna
even
want
a
It
one
stuffed
comes
with the
stuffed with
animal.
side of
beef
fries.
jerky.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I love
Oh my
Okja.
God.
Mm.
All right,
What's a
what's
marketing
happening to
opportunity?
me?
Do
Yeah.
we have to do that?
Please don't do that. That'd be horrible.
I think that is the end of the trailer section of today's show. Now it is time for us to take your live Twitter questions.
Yeah.
Keep sending them on in because we're going to keep picking them throughout the rest of the show. Natasha, what's our first one?
Okay, Nick NYC asks, what popular movie actor do you think is overrated and can't stand watching? For me, it's Nicole Kidman.
Ooh.
Well, I would never
Rough.
ever say Nicole Kidman
Yeah, that's
right
really
now,
savage.
just because I am fresh off of Big Little Lies. I know we're talking movies right now. She is so damn good in that. She's great in it. Reese Witherspoon's great. I love how I'm only talking about actresses I love right now, but trying to think of someone off the top of my head who I'm just not that into anymore.
I have a hard time going negative. I respect any artist that can put themselves in front of the screen, and that's not a cop-out answer. I just really kind of believe that. But what I find funny is how this is. I'm trying to avoid answering the question directly, I guess. There are people I focus on I hate that person. Channing Tatum can go to hell. That guy's kind of funny. You know, when you really kind of stop and take it in. I like when those type of people, the big names that kind of get pushed down our throats, suddenly kind of twist and show another side. Other ones fail. Sam Worthington kind of failed, and that was one that was kind of stuffed down our throats like Roman Reigns in WWE, where it's like, this guy will be the champion. And sometimes you rise above that.
Well, a lot of times I feel like we tend to feel negative about someone's work as an actor because they're paired poorly with their properties.
Sure.
It's like I have King Arthur on the brain because the poster's still right there. We talked about it earlier in the week. I feel like he would be Charlie Hunnam would be a much bigger star had he taken different projects. I thought he did exactly what he needed to do in King Arthur. It is not his fault that movie failed, but it failed. And even though I don't think that's going to affect his career too much going forward, I think he's still going to have good opportunities. It is a little blemish on his resume and something that I don't think he really earned on his own. But that, I guess...
If he had
That's-
taken 50 Shades, would it all changed?
Oh, no. Well, you really never know if it would have all changed because for
Right.
all we know, if he had been in that position, it could have changed the dynamic on set. You really never know. But another thing that comes to mind, because I brought it up earlier and because I'm prepping to see the new Pirates movie next week, is Johnny Depp because there's an insanely talented man who's done so many great films. And really, the first Pirates movie, he is exceptional in that
Oh, he's
role.
great.
And then it's just a string of movies where he does that same kind of shtick.
What was
Whether
the
it's Jack
mustache? What was that movie with the where he
Mordecai.
Mordecai.
But that's
Yeah.
the thing where he's gotta dress up and play some stupid character, and all of a sudden you start to forget about all the incredible characters he's created over the years. So I feel like it's just a matter of repackaging and finding something that suits your abilities a little better.
Yeah, I went to Johnny Depp as well. Not and I'm going your line of reasoning too, Ken. I can't for the life of me fault anyone or say that they're overrated because of what they're doing, but I can judge performances and then go to Johnny Depp in particular and go, hey man, I get it. You're really funny and you're really kooky and you like these roles, but when you do your second Mad Hatter movie and you're just doing the same kind of shtick and you're kind of a mirror image of Captain Jack Sparrow, I start to go, man, I'm really missing the Johnny Depps of old. Like I miss like Donnie Brasco, Johnny Depp. Like that was a great movie. I miss the original Pirates of the Caribbean where it was fresh and exciting and it was something out of left field. I miss that Johnny Depp, and I wanted, Black Mass kind of was it Black Mass?
Yeah.
It kind of was like a return. It was almost there for me, and I really liked his performance, but it didn't quite nail it for me. But I thought he was on the right track, and then he follows it up with like the Mad Hatter, like Allison through the Looking Glass, and I'm like, oh man, it gets tiring for me. I'll say that.
Schnepp, can you think of anyone?
I don't want to jump on the negative hate train, so I'm just going to mimic what these haters are saying about Johnny Depp. Screw him, man, right? The Invisible Man, he's like, ooh, I'm invisible. It's like, what is he going to do next? The guy's like, you can't see my mustache. I'm overacting. Who knows? I think he's a great actor. But yeah, every time he's shown up in a movie, like Mordecai had zero interest to see it, even after I saw the very first trailer, I was like, nope, not going to see it. And it's because of that. It's a lot of that. There's just that I'm a character. It's almost like that, overdoing a bad BBC series. And BBC series are always great. So when there's a bad one, you're like, man, that's bad. It's like, I don't know. Just forget it. Next question.
All right.
Ooh, I'm a wizard.
I'm a wizard.
I need that on loop. Wendy, do we have a more positive Twitter question over there?
We do. Since we were talking about Okja earlier, and that's a Netflix movie, Gerardo wants to know any secret gems on Netflix you guys would recommend.
Secret gems.
I don't know. Can you find some for me? Because I'm looking. I mean, I always go to some of the series that I'm having a really fun time with. Except the second season hasn't landed that well for me, which was Love. The first season was really, really good, but the second season kind of, I went, ugh. So, secret gems? Oh, man, that's a good question.
Did any of you see The Little Prince?
Ooh, The Little Prince,
last year?
yeah. I love the book. I
Fantastic.
haven't seen that yet.
Fantastic.
You know
There
what's
you
on
go, secret
Netflix
gem.
right now?
What?
Sing Street.
Oh,
Sing Street.
there's a secret gem.
Yeah. I mean, it really shouldn't be a secret gem anymore.
Right.
Everybody should be aware of this gem and should have bought the soundtrack at this point. But that's available on Netflix. I feel like, again, not a secret gem, but I think Scream is up there right now.
Scream's up there.
So basically, I'm covered for the whole weekend. I hope you are too. Anyone else?
Yeah, I love binge watching old TV programs. I'll watch Cheers, good old Woody, Schitt's Creek, which I've been watching prior to its Netflixing. But I love little weird documentaries on Netflix. One of my favorite ones is The Battered Bastards of Baseball. If you haven't had a chance to see it, if you're a sports person, but it also connects to movies. It is about a team in the Pacific Northwest in the early '70s, a very low minor league team owned by Bing Russell, who's the father of Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell actually played second base for this team, and it tells the story of this minor league team and what how it affected the community and all the players. It actually kind of tugs on your heartstrings, and Kurt Russell's in it, so it does connect to movies.
Shep, you got anything?
Nothing. I got nothing.
All right, I can fill in that slot then. I have an actual hidden gem that you might not know about if you're into horror movies.
Yes.
Have you ever seen Backcountry, Riley?
No.
Oh my.
Bat?
Back.
Oh,
Backcountry, which is
This year's
I was
it's-
excited for Bat Country, but
It's
Back
Jaws.
Country.
Perfectly reasonable place to park.
It's like Jaws in the woods with a bear. It's
What?
really it's one of those super low budget independent movies. I think it premiered at TIFF back in 2015, maybe even 2014, and it's a first feature too by Adam McDonald. So good, so creepy, very vicious. It is hard to watch, and it definitely left. I mean, this sounds cliche. It left me with the feeling at the end that, oh well, guess I can't go camping now.
Bears.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Here, I got one for you. Stakeland 2.
Yeah.
It just premiered on Netflix. If you haven't seen the first Stakeland, I thought it was a really kind of
It's
fun
fun.
road warrior vampire tale. It's very low budget, but it was. I watched the whole thing. I didn't get bored. I was like, all right, I'm on this journey with this kind of tough, kind of grizzly fat dude. All right, watch him kill some vampires. And the second one is exactly kind of the same thing, but a little bit different. So I would recommend, if you're really bored, it's late night, you're drunk off your ass, watch Stakeland 2.
That sounds like a whole bunch of poster pull quotes to
Yes.
me. All right, Natasha, what's our next question?
Nathan Kaiser asks, if Denis Villeneuve knocks it out of the park with Blade Runner 2049, will he be in the conversation with Spielberg and Nolan?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I was predicting where that question was going to go, and I thought it was going to be, if he knocks it out of the park, would you want him to direct a Star Wars movie? Or at least that's how I was first processing it in my mind. I just
Yes.
completely made that up, though.
Well, yes to that question, because he is one of my favorite filmmakers working today. I mean, and I was with him at Prisoners, and then Sicario he knocked it out of the park with that, and I was like, why isn't he nominated? Why isn't he not nominated? Why is everybody not nominated for Sicario? And then I loved Arrival. I love that he was nominated. I think he will knock it out of I'm hoping he knocks it out of the park with Blade Runner 2049. But guess what? He's also doing Dune.
Yeah.
Dune is where I think if Blade Runner, I'm a little worried about behind the scenes with the production company that did the Point Break remake. So I'm just hoping that they let Denis do his thing and step away so that we can get a really great Blade Runner 2049. And if he continues to do that and then takes Dune to the next level, which it's all there, the source material is there with the book, and he knocks it out of the park, he's in that conversation with Spielberg.
I think that...
Spielberg?
Yeah,
I think
well,
so. For me.
He's on the edge,
I think
though,
you
right
definitely
now.
put him in that Nolan conversation, probably already, but Blade Runner does that. Dune kind of locks it in. Spielberg, Scorsese, this big Mark Ellis isn't here, so I have to throw all the sports references in.
There you go.
You don't put people in the Hall of Fame until they get that 10, 15-year career. You might pull a hammy. You might get
That's
busted
true.
for PEDs.
That's a good point.
Spielberg for ups and downs. For every hook there's Munich, whatever. You have to let things kind of breathe and last a little bit. But he's definitely in that conversation with Nolan.
He's hitting the Spielberg years of like the ETs and the Close Encounters right
Yeah,
now.
he's in the Nolan category. If Blade Runner is amazing, then he goes into the Nolan category. At least in my mind.
Sure.
Nolan's got about like 7 films.
Yeah.
Denis got about 7 films.
That's
Nolan's
why
are
it's
a little
scary
bit.
to answer the question, though. It's just because it's, if Blade Runner is amazing, we're going to be like, oh, he's the next Nolan. If Blade Runner is not, and whether it's his fault or not,
Right.
all of a sudden it's like, well, that was bound to happen. I guess he's not one of the greats. And, I'm not saying that's a fair assessment to make. It's just, it's the general mentality where when you have a name that is becoming familiar, it's like, if you had any other director where we're not quite focusing. I mean, this question just proves it. We're looking at him and we're like, is he the next big thing? And when you go into a movie like a Blade Runner with that in your mind, that is what you're judging with Blade Runner, even though big stars like Harrison Ford and Ryan Gosling are in it. This is a Denis Villeneuve movie.
I gotta say, I don't want to see him do a Star Wars movie. There's enough young directors out there who want to make Star Wars and grew up with Star Wars. I'd rather see him tackle stuff like Dune, which is technically Star Wars. I mean, there's all these other movies and books and things that Star Wars kind of blatantly ripped off. Dune being one of them. So I would love to.
Blatantly ripped.
And I say that with love because George Lucas would be the first person to tell you that when he was in
Hidden
college.
Fortune.
Yeah. So yeah, the list goes on. It's like, look, he took all the best flavors, made a great popcorn
That's
movie.
right.
We all love Star Wars, but I'm saying I want to see Denis do a really cool Dune, unlike David Lynch's Dune, because I love David Lynch's Dune. All the weird hidden inside voices. Check that weird film out.
love
but
David
I want to
Lynch's
see a
Dune.
different version. I don't want to see the sci-fi channels, everybody's in weird silk robes because we don't have enough money to, make costumes. I want to see a really good Dune, and I think this is the guy that can do it.
All right. What do we got next, Wendy?
This one comes from Alex, who writes, "Hey guys, big fan. What are the chances that The Flash will be filmed? Everyone just seems to be dropping out of it."
No one's dropping out of it. That stuff from yesterday was bullshit. Billy Crudup did not drop out of The Flash.
Yeah.
He's still in The Flash. Everybody just takes, like, anybody online, like somebody's grandma could be like, I think Billy Crudup quit. Everybody's, I got a hot scoop. It's not true. Stop.
Yeah.
I don't even want to answer the question. No.
That's how it goes, though. With the DCEU conversations, it's just we happen to have had a string of reports specifically about the director
From somebody's grandma.
Not well.
Billy Crudup's
We have to give some outlets that have credible sources credit.
Yeah.
People did find out that Zemeckis did have a conversation that was then proven true. That's just the name of the game with the scoop business,
Sure.
which is a scary scenario. But just in terms of whether or not the Flash is going to get off the ground, I think that the fact that they are setting their sights so high with directors, they have 3 really great prospects. If these rumors are true, if they lock one of those in the near future, I think that is a very good sign. And obviously nothing is a guarantee, but
Right.
I am pretty hopeful right now about that movie.
Hey, look, when Rudnick dropped that, like, Zemeckis bomb, I was like, yeah, that's awesome. Robert Zemeckis is going to be doing The Flash. I'm 100%. I want Zemeckis to do it. I hope that they're just clearing schedules and they're like, we couldn't agree on stuff until we push this movie here and do this. I'm still hoping Zemeckis does it. I think it's great news.
Yeah, I like this in this day and age of hot scoops and also locked release dates. That puts a lot of pressure on projects that maybe need a little time to breathe.
Right.
I hope that DC kind of takes their time, gets the right people in place. People want this movie. I think it will happen eventually when it needs to happen.
Yeah, and if you're reading between the lines on all this Flash news, you're seeing the big news of Rick how do you pronounce his name? Famuyiwa drops out. Okay, after the original dropped out.
Fukuyami, sorry.
Fukuyami.
Famuyiwa.
Oh my God, we're slaughtering his name.
Jeez.
The talented director from Dope.
Yeah. I
That clears
apologize.
that up.
Again, wine, Game of Thrones last night. Work with me. So,
Happy birthday, Mike!
hey, happy birthday. All right. So listen, you read between the lines there. You see that news that directors are dropping out, And then you get all the critical backlash against
Right.
Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman. And then you get these rumors there's no marketing with Wonder Woman. Everybody's creating a dialogue about what's going on here. But look at this. Robert Zemeckis, okay? He's now in the conversation. Sam Raimi passed. That was the news that EW dropped. It was the wild, wild world of sports in journalism scoops the other day with this, because it was like the Rap reports Robert Zemeckis, then THR reports Matthew Vaughn, then Variety says Sam Raimi's in there. So there's a lot going on, but look at where we're landing. Robert Zemeckis and Matthew Vaughn are in the conversation, so DC is really taking it seriously. And I'm with you, Shem. Robert Zemeckis would be fantastic for The Flash, because of Barry Allen and his personality. I think Marty McFly and Back to the Future, there's just something that works so perfectly in that world in my mind.
I like the sound of that. All right,
Yeah.
Natasha, what's our next Twitter question?
Okay, Alex Weaver asks, question, what are your craziest theater-going experiences? Love everything you guys do.
Oh, God, craziest.
Crazy, huh?
I got one when I saw Peter Jackson's Dead Alive.
Oh
I was
my
like,
God, Dead
It was, we
Alive.
saw it at a midnight screening in Chicago at the Music Box. I think half the audience was drunk off our ass, and we'd go like, jumping in the theater, screaming when the guy had the lawnmower,
lawnmower.
just like cutting up the bodies. We were like, yeah! We were all going crazy. So much fun.
Yeah.
Riley, you got one?
I mean, the one that jumps to my mind, and it was not really crazy, but it really was upsetting to me, was that somebody took their 13-year-old birthday party to Split, and they were all in the front row, and they were just like texting and talking and getting up and walking everywhere, and like people would come in and they'd stop. You know, the ushers would come in and they'd stop, and then everybody's like, yelling and screaming at them. I finally got up, walked out, and I said, I'm about to walk out of this movie theater if you don't go down there and do something about it. And I go, and you're going to walk in, and they're going to shut up, and they're going to pretend nothing's wrong, but I will tell you, it's right in the front row. Go over there now. They walk in, they go down there, the dad gets in a fight with them, they're like talking, no, and then they all get
gosh.
escorted out. And I was able to enjoy the movie for the rest of the time. But that, crazy, annoying, sure.
You made them split.
I made them splits. Justice served.
Well, I used to work in a movie theater. I can tell you about finding used condoms in movies that shouldn't have used condoms.
Oh,
I don't
Care
know.
Bears. The
show
Care
we
Bears
wanted-
care,
Yeah.
right?
But I can tell you one experience I never forget. It was September of 1999. Natalie Portman was on the rise, and the movie Anywhere But Here was coming out. And I said, I'm going to go check this out on a Monday afternoon. I'll sneak in by myself. It'll be good. I'll just enjoy a good Monday matinee movie. I forgot it was like a holiday, and I turned the corner. There was literally one empty seat, and like 200 moms and their daughters, and they all like turned to me and looked, and I'm like the dude in the trench coat, like I'm just here for Natalie Portman, and I wasn't asked to leave, so it was a good experience. It was a good movie, actually. Like,
Oh, did I ever tell? I can't remember if I told this horrible experience I had in New York. I was like, I'm just gonna go see a matinee at some movie theater. Went in, got my ticket, got some got some nachos, had a giant iced tea. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna check out this movie. It's 1 o'clock. How many people could possibly be in this movie theater? Every seat was filled. I was like, what the hell? I walk up all the way to the top, some weird angled side street, and there was somebody who did not speak English. I was like, can I sit here? And they're like, just looking at me. So I was all right, I guess I'll sit here. And then they were like, someone right next to him was like, no, that seat's taken. So I got up, and then I somehow dropped my lid flipped off, and like the iced tea and the nachos went flying. And since I was in stadium seating, all these nachos and iced tea went over everyone. And then I yelled, fuck! And everyone in the theater looked at me, and I was just standing there. I just covered everyone in iced tea and nachos, and I was like, I'm out. I had to walk slowly. I just got
Walk
the hell
of shame out of that
got the
theater,
hell
man.
out of the theater, and then walked
Oh my
into another
God.
movie, and I watched that one with it was like it was LARPing, whatever that one was with Stifler.
Oh.
Role models.
Yeah.
Role
I
models.
I don't even remember the movie that I was going to see. I was so literally like, I just covered people in fucking nachos. I got to get the fuck out of here.
and
It was
that's
horrifying. Sorry, everyone in New York who was
John
there.
Snepp got
hilarious.
banned from Regal Cinema.
All right, I can reel it back in with a recommendation that is actually on Netflix. It's the movie Deathgasm. Have any of you ever seen Deathgasm?
I've not seen it
It
yet.
is so much fun. I saw it at South by 2 years back, and they played it in the Alamo Drafthouse.
It's like the death
It was-
metal one, right?
It was yeah, exactly. It was a midnight movie. Everybody had been drinking. You watch this movie with a couple beers in your hand, turn the volume way, way up, and you will get why that is one of the craziest experiences experiences ever. You should watch it with a whole bunch of friends. It's a ton of fun.
Nice.
You need to see that, Schnepp.
Definitely.
All right. Before we move on to more Twitter questions, because we still have more time, here are your daily plugs. So we have a brand new schmodown between Christian Harloff and William Bibiani. It's so weird calling. I'm reading Riley's notes. It's weird calling him William, like William Bibiani.
William!
All right, call him the Beast. The
There-
Beast
there
is
you
going
go.
up against the
William
Thank you.
Bibiani.
Christian
William.
Yeah.
Well, that
like
drops tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that. And today we have an all-new Jedi Council popping up on the channel later, so you can see that. And then, as always, brand new Awesome Tacular is coming out tomorrow. We will share links to that. Please go check it out. It's a fun show. We all work on it, and we love it to death. All right, more Twitter questions. Natasha, do I go to you now?
It's me.
Yeah,
Oh, it's Wendy.
Wendy's turn.
All right, this
Surprise.
one comes from Keith T, who writes, "Are people's obsession with trailers and judging a movie off a trailer ruin the movie experience?"
Oh, I don't like that question. I don't like that question.
I'm sorry.
Because I don't mean that like
Shame on you.
I know, Wendy,
No,
what's
no,
wrong
it's
with you for picking that
It's
question?
just-
Damn it,
no,
Wendy.
it's that
Get outta
that
here.
question makes me just a little sad that people do get so carried away with judging a movie based on a trailer, just because I feel like that's what the conversation is about more often than not. When at the beginning, making a trailer is also a form of art, and there's many people who make a living off of being trailer editors, and there's real skill to that. And I wish we could kind of step back and assess a trailer based on that, from that perspective to a point. But at the same time, it goes back to what I've been saying about Alien Covenant. There is something about that can severely affect the movie that you're about to see, whether it's you passing judgment on the particular scenes that they chose, or whether it's revealing too much and affecting your experience watching the final film. So it's all fair discussion to have. It's just I wish every once in a while we sat back and were like, look at this great thing that this talented editor or group of editors cut together that happens to be really effective.
Well, I think you touched on a big problem with the trailers, in my opinion, is that they've become this thing where we get a tease of a trailer, then we get the trailer, and it's like this hype, and it's just like we do reactions on them. Everything stops, and you sit there and you watch it, and you either like it or you don't, and then the judgment comes whether you like it or not, and then it becomes bigger than I think the movie. You're like, then you're judging it just 2 minutes, 30 seconds, or then we have final trailer, last trailer, international trailer, sneak peek, behind the scenes, featurette. There's so much marketing going in that you've seen the movie before you walk into the movie, so you've made up your mind. I do miss the old days, like the 80s remind me of just these great trailers or even like the original Jaws trailer is so great. Where's the deep voice man again? It's like the devil created Jaws, and it's just like very simple, and it just gives you like a nice little taste. And we didn't have the internet back then, so you'd see it in an actual movie theater. And now it's just everywhere you look. So I think that's a big reason why you can't help but start judging everything you see, good or bad.
Yeah, I love trailers. I love how trailers are today. They're an art form. There's sometimes can be copy, lather, rinse, and repeat. But I'm amused by older trailers. Like one of my favorites, you go back to like the first Pink Panther movie, and it's like, here's a scene with Peter Sellers and David Niven. Watch it. It's pretty good. And they like play out a scene, and the guy's like, yeah, the movie's coming out in August. You'll enjoy it. Like times have totally changed. Even the first Star Wars teaser, somewhere in space.
Yeah.
There's this thing happening.
Yeah.
You might like it.
A man.
Yeah.
A girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And a dog.
With the words just slowly
Harrison
coming at you.
Ford does the VO for the Empire trailer. It's
That's
so,
right.
It's so weird. So I like where we are now, but also this wonderful world that I love every day that we could come to this job and talk movies. But we've created this kind of world where I can't help myself seeing a trailer and go, well, I don't know if I agree that Luke Skywalker would do that in the 10 seconds I've seen here. And that's just kind of this beast we've created that's fun to play with, but I can understand where sometimes
You don't
it's
look
so
happy
much.
over there. I know how you feel about trailers.
Yeah, well, no, I'm very happy to talk about trailers. But there's an art form to trailers, and I agree with what you said about, there is an art to the trailer, and older trailers definitely have a bit of age to them. But there's a point, I think I like to use Men in Black as the tipping point for myself when trailers started to suck, because they started to show you the ending. They started to show you the money shot. They're like, oh, well, it's them shooting that big, that ship down. That's the end of the movie. If you haven't seen Men in Black, it's like, so they started like, let's throw those money shots at him. And the more of the editing, especially with the nonlinear digital editing, is what happened in the 90s. that became easier to make edits. It became easier to make newer edits. And as digital technology took over, it became a thing where now you're getting Suicide Squad trailers where it's like cut like a music video, and you have older trailers used to have like about 60 shots in a 3-minute clip. And now there's like over 300 shots in a 3 minute. It's like literally, they're like, a shot cannot last. There's like a mandate, a shot cannot last longer than 4 seconds. It's crazy how, like, if you just look at just time-wise, even in television, 7 seconds is a really long shot. Where you're like, there's certain filmmakers like Jim Jarmusch who's like make their entire thing about compositions, and that's what's one of the most amazing things about filmmaking is it's not you and seeing from your eyes, it's seeing from other people's perspectives. So, sorry to go off on a rant about it, but I feel like the modern trailers that we've all complained about over the last few years, like The Martian or this, there's so many where you're like, I don't want to see the entire movie. What a trailer is supposed to do is to give you a feeling of what the movie is going to give you when you see the entire film. So if you watch like The Mummy, like I thought that was a good trailer. I think they did show a little bit too much for my own taste, but that's what every trailer is now. But it gave you a feeling like this is just going to be a fun action adventure with some mummies in it. Like you got swimming mummies. It's not going to be a creepy horror film. It's an action film with some dead creatures in it. So I mean, you get the idea, but I think I personally would love to see trailers made specifically that have nothing to do with what's in the film, but just give you a feeling of what's in the film. Like I liked the Alien Covenant trailer where they just show you a clip from the Covenant ship, and then they're like, oh, they're all going to go to sleep, and it's an alien movie, so you know people are going to die. Some people aren't even going to wake up, but I don't want to see anything else. That's kind of how I feel about it.
It's basically, the thing is that trailers now should be what teaser trailers are now. It's like now the trailers have become mini versions of the movies. Then we have teaser trailers, which were like the traditional trailers, and then we have trailer teases that were what teaser trailers were formerly like. Yeah. I don't know. Let's just slow it down with showing all that footage. All right, Natasha, give me another question.
Okay, I thought this question was so funny. Luis A. Rivera writes, if an alien race came down to ask you, show us the best movie ever, which one would you pick and why?
Probably nothing that has anything to do with aliens.
I love that question.
I know what I'd pick. I'd pick Mars Attacks as a warning.
Nice. I like it.
You stay in line there, alien race.
First of
we
all,
don't want you.
You would have to make sure the aliens had a sense of humor and understood the language that you're showing the film in, so that they don't get that Dove moment where everybody starts getting shot to death. You want to get to the Dove moment. You know, with Mars Attacks, I would show them Young Frankenstein. Yes. But first, I'd have them absorb the memory or language pill. Did you understand humor? Do you understand humor? Now watch this goddamn movie and laugh your ass off, and then everybody would be happy.
Nice. Oh my God.
I'd actually pick Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Ooh, that would be awesome.
I'm flashing to early Spielberg for some reason, and not E.T. because I think we're showing E.T. a movie. So I would go Sideways. That's right. I'm going Sideways.
Wow.
You got wine on the brain, son.
Yeah, I do have wine on the brain, but I want them to know that the human psyche is fragile, that we need work, that we're deep, that we strive for the best, and that we like wine, because maybe they'll buy some wine.
Maybe they'll get drunk.
Right? They'll get drunk with us, get a little sideways, go wine tasting in wine country, meet some friends, have some food, and have some fun.
All right, now because you said Sideways, I've got to change my. It's not Young Frankenstein anymore. It's a Clockwork Orange.
Oh my
Try
God.
the wine.
I'm going to go in the complete opposite direction and think that it's safest to show the aliens a movie about children and an inspirational sports movie. So I feel like Sandlot, like Little Giants, like Rudy, something where it's just
Sandlot, that's a great movie.
Look at all these kind human beings who just strive to achieve the best they can.
I thought you were going to say Village of the Damned when you're like, I'm going to show them children.
Why do you think I always go to creepy kid movies? No, that's no. Bad news. We need to show them that we're kind, lovable people. So
Bad
we don't
News
start
Bears.
on Mars
Bad News
Attacks.
Bears might work.
Godfather
Why?
Part 3.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Wouldn't that be funny? You show them Godfather Part 3, they're like, that's it, I'm out.
Yeah, we're out of here. Yeah.
Or we can show them Okja and then take them for a nice steak dinner. I think that would work out great. Wendy, what is our next Twitter question?
This one comes from Wizlante, who writes, who is the most difficult person to impress or surprise amongst the Collider crew? I think it might be Dennis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Difficult person to
Surprise?
Surprise or impress.
I can understand why someone would say Dennis, because it's not easy to get, a big reaction out of Dennis.
He gives
Yeah.
0 Fs.
Yeah.
That's just it.
Right.
I like
Well,
to call
I
him
mean-
the Spock of Collider. That's
Yeah.
what I've been.
Yeah.
I'm
You
like,
guys
you're
did
like the
that
Vulcan
prank.
of Collider.
You guys did that prank. You and Frank did the prank on him.
Yeah.
And he
Because
was just
who
like,
knew that Dennis had a little spy camera in his
Oh,
office
come on,
and was
that makes
watching us
so
take out
much
all of his
sense.
pop toys? And then my favorite BTS moment ever is when I made the pasta necklaces with Dennis, and he's just like sitting there, like, we're gonna make some necklaces.
That was amazing. It was like a Zen moment. I remember watching that, like, where I wasn't here. I was watching. I was like, oh, they're making little like pasta necklaces. They're like super chill and just relaxed.
When I interviewed with Dennis, I thought I got fired halfway through the interview and I was even hired. I strive every day to impress Grace, and I don't think that works.
No.
But I'll tell you, the
No.
person I want to impress every day, it's Adam right over there. Because
Yep.
if I don't impress
Yep.
Adam, I don't get my shots.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's true. I'm going someone right here at the table, and that's Miss Perry Nemiroff.
Me?
Yeah, you know why?
I feel like I'm the
I-
most easily amused and
You
impressed
are
here.
at work though. If this, I'm just opening up a fun story because
Uh-oh.
when we went to cover Not Scary Farm,
Oh, yeah.
my favorite thing in the world was watching Perry go head first into the mazes, and people go "Ugh," and come out. And she's like,
Really?
yeah, not scared.
Unfazed?
Wasn't impressed.
Yeah.
She was just like head down, kind of going like, yeah.
Yeah, I
You
need-
see that?
I need
you
scary
see that?
stuff.
Meanwhile, it's like me and my girlfriend in the back go, look at this, look at this. And Barry's like, want to get a beer? And
Yeah.
I'm like, she's just like, just chilling, having
was-
fun. I'm like, so these monsters that work really hard in the makeup, train for years, come for like 3 weekends in a row and do this. And you're like, yeah, that was fun.
But I'm not an asshole about it. I'm not
You
like
are not.
in their face. I
No,
I
you're not.
tried to do the
You were,
look at this great production
It was-
design. That
it
was
was
that was,
hilarious.
that was well
I
timed.
worked
It
in
didn't
Haunted
really
House,
work.
and I know people like you. I would prey on people like you. I would get you if you did that to me, and you were like, I'd be like, I'm following you for at least 30 feet, and then when you least expect them, be like, how you doing? Right there,
I
I'd
need
get
you
you.
to design a haunted house for me, please.
All right, I
no,
will work on it.
the best part about that trip was riding those roller coasters with
Oh.
too many beers in our
the
bellies.
roller coaster was, whatever that one calls where
Did
it
you guys
rockets
go
you
on
out.
Silver
I think
Bullet?
whatever that was, I think they closed it.
Oh, because somebody probably
Yeah,
died on
well.
it because I thought I was going to die on it. We rocket out of there at 90 miles an hour, and then
No.
and then come
Natasha,
back.
did you know what that was called?
did you guys
Silver
go on
Bullet?
the accelerator, the one you go
Accelerator.
Is the
Over
over the top?
accelerator
That's
that
the
goes
best
Accelerator.
one.
way up? Yeah.
Accelerator.
I won't
It was
go on that
probably
one.
that one.
That one's
awesome.
fun. It's over so quick you won't even know it.
The Silver Bullet one, literally the second before it ended, I was like, I'm gonna be sick. Thank God it
I
ended
remember.
right then.
I remember that
terrible.
one too. The silver bullet. I did feel like I was
Yeah.
going to be sick. It was.
If I had some beers in me, like, oh heck no.
Yeah.
This
I
is
would not.
totally off the topic, but has anyone ever been on a ride where someone else threw up?
I would
No,
drop
thank
dead.
God. Mm-mm.
I was on a ride. I was a little kid, and I remember I laughed so hard. I was an evil little kid, but I was with my dad, and it was one of those weird octopus rides, where it's like Scrambler or whatever. I can't remember what it was called. But a little girl threw up, and it went everywhere. It was all over. It was like all over her dad. It was everywhere.
I am not
It was
scared of
crazy.
any roller coaster or any ride out there. An incident that could happen that would make me never ride one again is that.
Ugh.
I sat next to a little 7-year-old girl on a plane once, and she was throwing up the entire time. And it's like this poor little child is puking, and I'm like in the corner, don't.
As you should be.
Well, her mom was sitting next to her. She should take care of it. But yeah, clearly I'm not afraid of anything in haunted houses, but vomit, nope.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know who has the next Twitter
It's
question.
me. Okay, Christy asks, can you guys explain what noir film means and give me some examples of what your favorites might be?
Ooh, good one.
Examples of favorites.
Noir being dark or black is what noir means. So film noir is dark films, and it comes from the 40s, where it was like a lot of people will say it's like the G-men and this the cops and the bad guys and
Detectives.
detectives, but I would say some of my favorite film noirs: Double Indemnity, Out of the Past. Those are two of my top film noirs. Kansas City Confidential. I could list a bunch. I'm a big film noir fan. So.
What you got, Ken?
I am a fan of noir comics. Fade In, Hit. Those are some great comics. That
So
cover,
good.
Cover the
And you're
same-
talking about Ed Brubaker.
Ed Brubaker, who's
He is the
great
man.
at what he does. I think my favorite film noir piece, television or movies, is actually the Kelsey Grammer SNL sketch where he wanted to go a suit and burrito shop. And that's the best noir thing I've ever seen. No, but also, I also, in a weird way, this black and white Logan kind of, what
right,
they're going for.
right.
I like that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you got kind of a gentleman's fedora hat and a trench coat, you're noir.
Riley?
I go Chinatown. That's the one that
Yeah.
immediately jumps to mind, and one of my favorite movies all time.
And film noir does not have to be in black and white. So I'm
Correct.
glad you mentioned Chinatown because that is in color.
Exactly. It's because it can blend genres too. I would even call Blade Runner a little bit film noir because
Definitely.
it has a detective kind of feel to it. It has that gritty look. But Chinatown, I think for me, is one of the best performances by Jack Nicholson. The detective work, the reveal at the end is something that is shocking, and it's something to, if you haven't seen Chinatown, that's one of like the AFI best, of all time. So check it out.
Here's another one, Kiss Me Deadly, which is incredible and a lot of fun. Tarantino always gives it homages. So.
I was going to say Pulp Fiction. That kind of counts, right?
Well, Kiss Me Deadly actually has an homage from
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction. Took that little briefcase with the.
Okay.
That's
I was afraid that wasn't going to count.
No, it counts.
All right, there are your recommendations. So we have time for, how about 3 more?
Okay.
Wendy, what do we got?
This one comes from Jason, who writes, if they continue the Jurassic franchise after this next film, who would you like to see direct?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh. It's hard to say until we see Jurassic World 2, because I think the world of J.A. Bayona. So if he knocks it out of the park, it's going to be very difficult for me to let him go if they continue the franchise. But there's so many talented directors out there. I feel bad locking him into that bubble, but I really do think that Jurassic World 2 is going to be what I wanted in Jurassic World, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's so funny this question is asked, and what you're saying, Perry, I was thinking about it the other day because J.A. Bayona is going to bring something very interesting to this world. And I think about the plot, the way that Jurassic World ended, we can't, it seems, I don't know what the story is yet, but we can't go back to the Jurassic Park we know, where here's the park, here's the dinosaurs in captivity, escape, rinse, repeat, right? We got that. Now there's something interesting that could happen. There were a lot of people on that island. A lot of dinosaurs were on the loose. A lot of people eaten. What does that mean in the landscape of this world now? We're in are there lawsuits? Ian Malcolm is back. Jeff Goldblum's back. What does he have to say about this? I feel like there's something political going to be there. But J.A. Bayona is the weird part for me, because what is he going to do in that world? It's going to bring something heavy to it, I'm hoping. And then, like you said, Perry, if he knocks it out of the park, I don't want him to go either. I want to see him go further with another sequel, but that remains to be. I got to see the next movie to fully make a decision.
Yeah, for me, Monster Calls didn't do it for me, so my jury is out. As far as I hope that he does an incredible job, because I like Jurassic World, and that dude is doing Star Wars, so I'm hoping that he does a great job. I don't know if he's a one and done. Who else would I like to see do a Jurassic World? I don't know. I was just thinking going through the Rolodex of I'd like to see a filmmaker who's done a few films and maybe go out on a limb into a blockbuster. I thought Duncan Jones could do a good job.
Ooh,
That's a pretty good idea,
I don't know if
actually.
he'd say yes or no, but I'm looking really forward to seeing his Netflix movie Mute is coming out very soon. So
Yeah.
I'm not the world's biggest Jurassic Park fan, and I know that breaks your heart, Perry, but I love them all. Cody Hall shaking his head at me. Adam just gave me a gesture that I don't think's
a lot of hatred you just brought on.
I'm fine with it. I love it. I like Jurassic World for what it was, but I like the idea of using these big movies to get someone to the next level who's proven himself. I'm hearing great things what Patty Jenkins did with Wonder Woman. We got Jordan Peele on the rise. Give someone like that the chance to take it to the next level, where they're at that level where they don't get to go away, where they don't they can kind of make something big.
I just thought of a good example if we do have to have another director. Wes Ball. Anybody
Ball.
know? He directed Maze Runner.
Oh.
So what he did was he directed a really cool short that I think was all VFX, and Maze Runner, which was a pretty substantial production, was his first feature film. And I know Maze Runner kind of has a bad reputation because it's a young adult book to film adaptation. That's a pretty damn good one. If you are not on that YA adaptation train, you should probably check out Maze Runner because it is very compelling. It's an interesting story, and I think it is exceptionally. It's just so well directed that I was kind of shocked. And when you watch some of those the behind the scenes featurettes of him working, you could tell that it looks so good and it's so effective because of the work he did. But then Scorch Trials was not as good, and I think it was story issues
Did
more
he
so
do
than
that?
anything.
Did
He did do Scorch Trials, and then there's the issue with Dylan O'Brien's injury with Death Cure. So who knows when we're going to get that? But I really wouldn't mind seeing him get another big opportunity because I think he'd be a good fit for something like that. He can handle it. All right, Natasha, what's our next one?
Matt Bacon asks, with Guy Ritchie's King Arthur bombing, will Disney possibly have second thoughts having Ritchie as the director for Aladdin?
Ooh,
Oh,
it's an interesting question. It's an interesting question because even when that was first announced, I'm like, really? Is Guy Ritchie the right fit for something like that? Because I like him. I like his movies quite a bit. I liked King Arthur. But if King Arthur showed me anything, it's that he will take his style and he will bring it to any property that he touches. And I don't think that's proper for Aladdin.
Here's how I feel about it. Like, I like Lock, Stock, and Smoking Barrels. I love Snatch. I have zero desire to see this version of King Arthur from the very first trailer. I was willing to give it a shot, but trailers do really either hurt or help. And for me, it's like Excalibur is so burned into my head that that's the one to beat, and nothing's beat it yet. So I love the idea of seeing Knights of the Round Table, stories about King Arthur. I love the legend, but this one just felt jokey and had too much of that that weird stuff where I was like,
That's what it's officially called.
yeah, I don't want to see it. So I mean, that's just me. I'm bummed that it's bombing at the box office because I know a lot of you guys liked it. I will eventually see it, but I also wonder about Aladdin. When I first heard it, I was like, oh, it's going to have that kind of same, like, four guys in a corner laughing about the thing. Oh, are you going to rub it? I don't know, mate. It's like, you rub it. No, I'll rub it. Then the genie's like, I'm out, motherfuckers. It's like, it's a Guy Ritchie movie. All of a sudden, you're locked onto Aladdin running around. There's a weird hand. It's like, you just know what's going to happen. So, I mean, whether that's good or bad, maybe I'll see King Arthur and be like, man, that was stupid. This movie was fun. I don't know. I should see it.
I think once these ships leave the port with these big movies, it's too hard to make that kind of change. Not that it hasn't been done before. Not that Disney with Josh Trank and the Star Wars standalone movie hasn't done some of those things before. But I don't think. If enough people enjoy the movie and you think the movie should have been received better than it was, then executives are going to be like, "Hey, we're fine."
I don't know what to think. Yeah, I don't know if I side with Ken. They're probably too far in right now for it to be affected. And Disney seems to do very well with letting filmmakers do their thing. We're seeing that with all their movies, with their Star Wars, with their Marvel. So with that, it's fascinating to think of a Guy Ritchie movie in the Aladdin world. So just Guy Ritchie, Aladdin, I have to see that. I don't know it, and it's going to be a musical. So we're going to get the Aladdin music, too. That's just too bonkers crazy for me to pass up, so I hope he stays on it.
All right. I said 3, but it's 2. I think we're out of time today. Sorry, guys, but I hope you had fun. This was a great time. It's really nice and refreshing to take a whole bunch of your Twitter questions for a change. So thank you guys so much for watching. Before we close out the show, I want to thank everyone in the back over there. We have Cody, Adam, Jonathan. Thank you guys so much for everything. And now let's close it out. Schnepp, where can everyone find you?
Guys, find me on Twitter and Instagram, just at John Schnepp. Pre-order my weirdo crazy book. It's a verse novel. It's called Isolated Mutations of the Assembly Line Baby. It's totally strange. I guarantee it. Go to Kickstarter. Get your book. I'm going to have them at Comic-Con.
And Ken.
You can follow me at CatNapsuck. I'm on the app Anchor doing a Game of Thrones show called Daily Thrones. Check it out as we ramp up towards season 7 of HBO's Game of Thrones. Also, you can find me at all the barbecue restaurants in Burbank. Just look closely.
And Mark Riley, where can everyone wish you a happy birthday?
Wow. At Riley Around on Twitter and Instagram, and eating barbecue with Ken and buying Schnepp's book because it is the greatest title of all time. I love it, dude.
And Natasha.
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at NatashaLexis_.
Wendy.
On YouTube at The Movie Couple channel and at Wendy Lee Zaney on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat.
All right, and you can catch me on Twitter and Instagram at P. Nemiroff, Collider Behind the Scenes every Saturday. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. See you tomorrow morning.
Hey guys, if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll help you stay up to date with everything we've got going on here at Collider.